Just before kickoff, the Philadelphia Eagles learned that they were the last undefeated team left in the NFL. And coming into the game, the Jets were kind of decimated in their secondary. No Sauce Gardner, no DJ Reed. Top 3 defensive backs are out. I'm sure going into this game, you thought you're going to run the ball a lot because this Jets defense isn't that great with defending the run. But with this recent changes and Sauce being out especially, I think they pivoted to more of a pass-happy offense. And we saw that Jalen dropped back more than 40 times, and there was even a couple times that were scrambles, so maybe let's say 50 dropbacks. And that's just simply too much. You have DeAndre Swift, you have Boston Scott, you have Kenny Gainwell, and you have this really good offensive line who did really well last weekend against a pretty decent LA Rams defensive line and just didn't seem to replicate that this week. And that led to an imbalance, led to turnovers, and I think the first 2 turnovers you can say for Jalen weren't entirely his fault. The first one definitely should have been a fumble. I'm kind of confused on the ruling there because I thought Dallas Goedert made a football move and it was simply a fumble, but goes down as an interception. The second one, his hand is hit, so that's pressure coming in. And the third one, just completely on Jalen. There's no excuses there. Devastating mistake. Brian Johnson, who is under question right now, there's a big drop off in the play calling compared to him and Shane Steichen, his predecessor. Shane just seemed to have a great sense for calling plays, and it was obviously very led on the run game. And this is now with maybe better talent in the running back room, maybe poorer blocking schemes because of the injuries. And early to start, Lane Johnson is down with an ankle injury. We don't know his status, but left the game, did not return. They're already without Cam Jurgens, so that right side is different, but still you have that left side is just still pretty good. And for whatever reason, they got away from the run and this became very pass happy. Yes, AJ Brown had a pretty good game, but the rest of the receivers were pretty quiet. Dallas Goedert had the drop that led to the interception, a couple drops from Devontae Smith, kind of disappointing there, and slowly blew this lead up 14-3. Turnovers just kept the Jets in this game. Zach Wilson been solid, didn't put the ball in harm's way, not a dumb mistake that we saw to him. I didn't see anything that really put the team at risk with his throws. There's just missed opportunities. You have a team that's very decimated right now, both sides of the ball, and this should have been, I wouldn't say a cakewalk because any team can win on any given Sunday, but this should have been an Eagles win, and that's a missed opportunity. Big red flags for the offense, who is still, as we can say, is clunky. It's not been consistent. We haven't seen a real big breakout Jalen game, and this was any opportunity to do so. It was this game. Decimated secondary, should have been able to run and pass up and down the field, but you get into a defensive slugfest, and then a pick that leads to the game-winning score basically is devastating. And with Miami coming in, that is the fastest team in the NFL. And right now, the Eagles are very vulnerable. I think these injuries are something to be a note of, just like San Francisco's is. Don't know what the status is of Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel, but in the defense, we've talked about how the secondary is shuffled around. Right now, Darius Slay missed a game, Jalen Carter missed a game, and then they have to use now their 15 different defensive back in this season, and we're only through 6 games. That is very concerning. I don't know what the status is of Reed Blankenship. He went down. The new slot cornerback Bradley Roby went down with a shoulder injury. Right now, it's just very patchwork. I'm thinking Darius is coming back next week. What they were trying to do is just, they think they could get away with these injuries, beat the Jets, and then have everybody that was dinged up and ready for Miami next week, but they ended up losing still. So big pressure on these players that are dinged up and not having maybe season-ending injuries to get back as soon as possible, because these are going to continue to pile up, and this is what the NFL is all about. It's that war of attrition, right? Any team is battling just to survive now 17 games, and just to get into the playoffs, is to survive that, get to the Super Bowl and win it. It's a massive accomplishment to win a Super Bowl, because the amount of hoops that you have to do, it's every time. Every game is a battle, every practice is a battle, and you have to survive unscathed, at least battle through the dings, the bumps, the bruises, whatever the case may be, just to get through the next game, win, get through the next week, win there, and get to the Super Bowl. Yes, it's their first loss of the year. They did not look good. They played down to their opponent. Disappointing. I think they can bounce back, but definitely raises some red flags with the Philadelphia Eagles.